Alright. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hope everybody's doing okay. Today's been a pretty good day for us. We've been in this state of California all day long. We left out this morning from Chula Vista, which is 5-6 miles from Tijuana, and jumped on the 5 and been on the 5 ever since. Matter of fact, we're fixing to cross over into Oregon right now. I'm not too keen on Southern California. It's not my most favorite place in the world. However, I think we both, once you get up to mid-California to Northern California, it's gorgeous. We really love the Midwest. I think Idaho is probably our favorite state to go in. It's just beautiful country up through there. It's just nice. But like I said, we've been through California all day. Matter of fact, I had to go into, we got a pre-pass, but of course I had to go into the weigh station in California, so I got beeped into the weigh station. Then I go into the weigh station and get the bypass in the weigh station, and as I'm going out the bypass, I get the flashing digital sign that says pull into Bay B. So that was lovely. Ended up doing just a level 3. I think it's just a level 3 inspection. It's pretty much in and out. So no big deal there, which is cool for us because our company started offering a bonus or just a little small something, nothing too major, but if you go through a level 1 inspection, you got no issues, they're going to give you $50 on a Visa card. So it shouldn't be taxed or anything like that. Level 2 is $35 and level 3 is $25. So I just got $25 Visa card for showing to do my license, basically. So score for the home team, right? But thank God, because last night we took a rock to the windshield right in front of the driver. So now we've got a crack about 8-10 inches long. He didn't see that, so I guess it could have been worse. But like I said, I hope everybody's doing okay. I guess today we were gonna get into talking about CDL School and some options or some things you can do and some things you probably shouldn't do. But to me, the most important thing is get into CDL School, no matter how you got to do it. There's a few different ways you can do it. I think you can do it the old school way, which you can go get your permit and take your own test up at the DMV and get your license that way. You're probably going to run into some issues unless you know somebody of whether or not they'll hire you on, because they want you to get some hours in that they give you in school behind the wheel, and then they'll hire you on once you get, it's so many hours, I think. But if you go up there and do it yourself, you're not going to have the hours behind the wheel. But I mean, if you know somebody, or whatever the case may be, your uncle owns a trucking company, and that might be a quick way you can do it that way. You can always go through some of these mega carriers, obviously, have their own school, and ones that don't have their school, they'll pay for it. They'll set you up with a trucking school, and they'll go ahead and cover the cost, cover your tuition, and this and that. The thing with that, though, is usually you're going to work some kind of contract, or you're going to work, a year. And if you don't work that year, usually you're going to have to pay back the tuition or whatnot. But if that's the way you got to do it, that's the way you got to do it. It ain't gonna hurt you to stay somewhere for a year, anyways, because that year is gonna fly by. I know this time's been flying by for us, so it don't seem like we've been out here, this long or whatnot. We went to private CDL school where we paid for our own. That way, there's no contracts or nothing like that. We don't have to go work for anybody. We could choose our own company to work for. We wasn't tied down to any kind of tuition, penalty if we left the company or anything like that. But that's just the way we decided to go. I guess you're going to end up paying out your pocket that way. And if you can't pay out your pocket, then there's nothing wrong with going to these mega carriers. I think Swift and Prime, I think, has their own school, and there was some people in our class that was through Snyder. Snyder was paying their school. I think there was some Swift people there. I don't know if CR England has a school or whatnot. I'm not real sure about that, but if that's the way you got to go, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's all about getting into the seat and getting your license. Like I said, we went to a private school, and that way we were able to research at the companies that we wanted to go to. But if you go to your own CDL school, some of the things you might walk in there and ask them before you sign up, or before you find or pick a school, because I'm sure there's different options and stuff out there, different schools you can pick. You can start with the basics. How long is the program? Our program was only 4 weeks long. Some of the other ones were 8 weeks long. Some people might not like that it's only 4 weeks long. Maybe they feel like you're not getting enough training, which I understand the argument, I guess. But also ask what the student to instructor ratio is. That's kind of what we ran into. We had how many people was in our class? 10, 12? 12 people in our class. We started with 12. I think we ended with 11. I think one guy didn't know the answers to the drug test, so he had to excuse himself from the class. But there was only, excuse me, my ears are popping, we're up in a mountain. There was only one instructor in the class setting at a time. Now, when you're in the classroom doing the permit stuff and getting all that studied up for, and they're going to get you to pass the permit test and go over all the stuff in the book, that wasn't a big deal. Once we moved out to the yard, we went out there the second week. You spent the second week backing. It was just backing all week long, which it came down to where there was 11 people out there with one instructor. And what happened was, some of us that kind of understood the concept of it or anything like that, she's back the boats and this and that, and which is completely different. That's the first thing they tell you is forget about backing the boat trailer. You can't do it like that. Now, when I went in there, I'd only backed a trailer a few times, but you get the concept of it. So it kind of came for us. I don't want to say easy. We're not like precision backers or anything like that. But we were getting the concept a lot quicker than some of the other people. So we would go through the backing scenario, whatever they have us to do, whether it was a 90 degree or offset or whatnot, and we would go through it in 10 minutes, and we would sit there for hours waiting for the other 10 people to go through it. And some of them, they were having a little bit tougher time, which is okay. It's not a big deal. It's just, excuse me, they would end up working with them for 45 minutes or an hour, and we're just sitting there. So we didn't get much time behind the seat in the backing part of it. To me, the instructor to student ratio is a pretty big factor. If I had to do that again, I would pick take a smaller class. Of course, this school told us it was a smaller class, and then we showed up on the first day and surprise. You can ask them if they train on automatic. Excuse me, my ears are popping. If they're running manuals or automatics. Our truck now is an automatic. We trained on a manual. You know, we didn't want any restrictions or anything like that on our license. So we both trained on the manual, so we don't have any restrictions or anything like that. Plus, you know, it's good, you know, to know how to do that anyways. You know, if you're out here in an automatic and your truck breaks down and they're gonna send you a rental out or whatever it is, and that thing's a manual, you better be able to get down the road where you're going. Now that being said, we love our automatic. Ask them what their graduation rate is. That's what I would ask them. If they're, you know, if they're not graduating, a lot of people, then they obviously pretty much suck, if you ask me. But they shouldn't have that problem, because you can also ask them, you know, what happens if I don't pass the test? You know, if I don't pass the driving part or the pre-trip part, what happens? Do I get to do it again? Do I get remedial, or do I get to come back the next day? Just kind of see what their protocol is on that. I know there was some people that went through our class that they were having to go back the next day, which, like I said, it's fine. It's no big deal. You just work at it, get it down, and you'll get through it. You'll get through it. Obviously, ask them how much it cost. Some of them are probably going to be a little more expensive than others. So, you know, call around. Just get on the phone with them, you know, and see if they have any financial aid or anything like that, or if they use a GI Bill or something. Like if you were in the military, you can see if they'll use the GI Bill. What is this guy doing?
He's sweet. He knows what he wants.
He's just chilling down the
shoulder. Yeah,
down the emergency lane. I don't know what he's doing. That's strange. What you doing, bro? Anyways, ask about their job placement. You know, I know the school we went to, they had recruiters coming in every day. And pretty much lobbying for you to come work for them. You get to listen to their spiel, you know, and ask them questions. And that's another thing. Make sure you got good questions prepared for the recruiters. They're gonna fill your head full of bullshit, but at least you can see where they stand on things or whatnot. And how long that job placement lasts. You know, is it a lifetime thing that'll help you find a job if you need one, or is it like a year afterwards, or something like that? Excuse me. See what the school hours are too, whether or not, if you need to do like they have a night school, if you have to work during the day. We were both able to step away from our careers and had saved up enough money to where we just was able to go straight into the man, that's a glare on there, straight out into the program. Some of those guys, didn't they have a night school or a weekend school, or maybe that's an option for you? But just know what you're getting into, whether it's 8 to 5, you know, no weekends, you know, 8 to 5 every other weekend. You know, I think ours was 8 to 5, but on the last week, we drove at night. You had to do some night driving. So we did that. But no question is a stupid question, and I promise you they've probably heard every question you're going to ask, but just make sure you ask questions. And the same way, if you're gonna go through a company and go through their school, just call the recruiter up and ask questions about what they do to, you know, pay for your CDL school. Do they have their own school? Do they find you a school and cover the bill, the tuition. And some of these companies, if you go to your own school, they have tuition reimbursement. So ask about that too. That way, if you paid for it, you might go to a company that'll give that back to you as long as you work there for, I think, a year or so. It just depends on what those companies' rules are. Some of those mega carriers, Prime, man, they'll send you a bus ticket. You don't need anything but a little bit of food money. You can scrape up, a few $100, $200, $300, $400 to get you through school just to buy food. Man, they'll send you a bus ticket. They'll pay for your bus ticket. You'll go get on the bus, and I think it's Missouri. I think it's Missouri Prime's in. You'll go out there and go straight into their school. I think they put you up and everything. So, and then once you get to their school, it's right out on the road. You're right out to making money. But just call the different companies or whatnot, and just see what they have to say. My only advice about it is, don't wait around. You know what I mean? If it's something that you want to do and it's something that you're interested in, the only one stopping you is you. You can get out here. You get in that class and you pay attention. You read your book. You study. You go through your pre-trip. You study your pre-trip constantly, which is what we did. We helped each other through it. We called questions out to each other. We called the pre-trip out. We went through the pre-trip with each other. Yeah, she actually, they gave us a paper of the pre-trip, and it was kind of a weird order. And Jane here actually went and retyped it. And she took that paper and highlighted things and moved things around and went home and retyped it and put it in the order where it made sense for us. So, that's something that we did. And it worked out. It worked out good for us. In school, you're going to end up going to get your physical, your medical, your med card. You're going to go test for your permit. If it was me, I would go ahead and get those things out the way. You know what I mean? And that's just something in class that you don't have to do. Go ahead and get your permit, and maybe they'll let you hang out in the yard, and get some backing, training in or something like that while everybody else is studying to take the permit. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. You'll just have to ask the school. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I know we went that first week to take our permit test, and we sat for all of them. We got the permit, the tankers, the double triples, the hazmat. Forgot about that one. We went ahead and sat for all of them at the same time and breezed right through them. We just figured while we're sitting there, we'll just take the test.
And download the app DMV Genie.
Yeah. There was an app we got on the smartphone, like she said, called DMV Genie, and it was just test questions and practice tests. And you can go online, I'm sure, and Google commercial motor vehicle practice test, and for whatever state you're in. We're out of North Carolina, so that was a North Carolina practice test, but I'm sure they probably got it for every state. But like I said, my advice to you is just, don't wait around with it. Don't stall with it. If it's something you want to do, you make your mind up and you go and do it. You start making the phone calls. You start going through the process. Nobody's going to stop you in this world but you. And I know it's easy to sit here and say, because I don't know everybody's circumstances and what you got going through, but to me, everything in life comes down to a basic concept, and it's how bad do you want it? You want it bad enough to get on out there and do it. You might have to make some sacrifices. Everything you do in life is going to come with sacrifices. Everything. driving a truck is a great job. You're gonna make a lot of money. You can make as much money as you want to make. It's fun to do. You get to see the country while somebody else pays for it. But you're gonna give up some home time. You know, you're gonna be away from home. So I don't know, what kind of family situation you got going on. But you're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit. And everybody that comes out here wants to be home every night or just drive local or want to be home every weekend. You're not gonna make the money. You're just not gonna do it.
We're home every weekend. We're home every weekend.
But yeah, that's true. Chances are you're not gonna make the money. It just depends. Well, we are home every weekend, but we also we don't run. I think what's the magic number, like 9.5 hours or something like that, and then shutting down and running 9.5. We're running out our clock every week, so we're resetting every week, but we reset from home. It's probably got something to do with being on a dedicated lane too, I'm sure. But so we reset every week, we reset from home. Sometimes we do a rolling reset. Sometimes we're home 34 hours and we're out. Sometimes we're home 24 hours and we're out. So you can take that home every weekend with a grain of salt, because sometimes it feels like you get home, we run to the grocery store, restock the truck, we do the laundry, we lay down, blink your eyes, get back up, it's time to get back on the truck. I think last week we were only home about 24 hours and we're back out. We try to keep the wheels turning. But yeah, just look into CDL School. You can just run a simple Google search, and I'm sure a bunch of them will come up in your area. And just call them. I promise you, they've probably heard all the questions you're about to ask them, and they've got the answers to them. Excuse me. Anything you want to say? But yeah, that's just my advice. Get up and do it. And that goes for a lot in life. You just get up and you got to do it. Some things you don't want to do, just do it anyways. Like I said, how bad do you want it? Because this job can be totally life-changing. It has changed a lot of people's lives, whether it's financial-wise or maybe their life is going in the wrong direction. Whether that's getting in trouble with the law or just running with the wrong people. You get out on this road, man, and it's different, man. It's almost like it could be like therapy driving around. It really can. Some of the spots. Now, some of the spots I don't really much care to drive through, but they're kind of a pain in the butt. But most places that we go, anyways, we enjoy. Yeah, that's really cool. It's a big house.
That's the rest area.
Is that a rest area? It looks like a big ass house. So yeah, we're in Oregon now. It's one of our favorite area of the country, anyways. It's really cool out here.
He was running to the 47.
She just saw somebody sprinting to the bathroom there. It happens. Hey, that sounds like a video. We'll have to make one of those too. Talk about bathroom stuff, how that works out. But I guess we're gonna get on up the road. We're gonna stop and grab a shower here in about another 150 miles. Stop in at a Love's. That's another thing. If you start this, get you a Love's card, or whatever your truck stop of choice is. The perks on it are pretty cool, but I go through that at a later date.
Visit us on Instagram.
Oh yeah, we are also on Instagram, Rigs to Riches TV. You can email us with any question. Rigs to Riches, that's the number 2, Rigs to Riches TV at gmail.com, or answer any questions you got. And we'll just keep the videos coming as we go along. All right.